Hello everyone, for today's video I'm discussing my thoughts on Mr. Robot, which is a web series available on Amazon Prime. And you have to do a 30-day free trial subscription before you actually subscribe to the service by paying $7.99 a month. It depends where you are in the world that you pay. But in the UK it's $7.99. And you could watch different shows on Amazon Prime, or you can stream films and you can watch short films on there as well. You get the main thing about IMDb, they do IMDb trivia and facts as well on Amazon Prime, which I like. And Mr. Robot is one of the best series on Amazon Prime, I would say, because I would recommend it because how compelling and engaging and intriguing at the same time. It's many of those things that I hardly feel about most films and TV shows that I've ever watched. And I enjoyed it in a way that I want to know more, basically. I'm quite curious. And I want to know about the characters and their lives and who they are as people. Because I do write scripts about people. That's my main thing. Because I do like to study people and analyze who they are. And what they identify as, or what makes them basically. And I didn't watch Mr. Robot consistently because I only finished the series around December last year, which I know seems like a long time ago, but it's not really that long ago. But months fly so quick, so you don't really think of it as long ago. And I'm just gonna talk about the series. I know this may contain some spoilers, so I'm very sorry if you haven't watched it. You will be forgiven. I hope you can forgive me for that. So season 1, we get to learn about Elliot, who's the main character in the series. He's played by Rami Malek. He's one of the best actors of today, I would say. And Elliot is a man who's quite troubled by his own identity, and he suffers from anxiety and clinical depression, and he does find socializing very difficult, and people find it hard to socialize around him or be in his presence. And he works at a company, a cybersecurity engineering company, that he fixes problems that were mainly done by hackers. And by night he's a vigilante hacker, and he goes out to seek justice for those who've been wronged online, and he catches the cyber criminals. So he basically has two identities. And at the same time he is struggling with his own identity as well, because he's living in a world of delusion, and he takes drugs to suppress anything that's maybe bad in his life. And he's quite troubled. Maybe he's traumatized by his own past, which is why he's doing these things to himself. And he meets this mysterious leader called Mr. Robot. He's basically an invisible entity of Elliot. He's basically like Elliot's guide towards life and pain. That's what we find out at the end. And I'm not sure if Mr. Robot is actually his dad, because he is played by the same person as well. Christian Slater plays Mr. Robot, and he plays the father of Elliot. But apparently at the end of season 1 he's apparently dead, because his sister tells him. And Elliot's struggling so much with his own identity, and he joins the F Society to be a part of something. Like, F Society are this rebel group. They're a bit like a protest group. Like, you see the protests like it's Extinction Rebellion and Black Lives Matter type movements. They have their own movement, which is basically to tackle any the conglomerates that are taking over. They're a bit like it's a bit like a Robin Hood thing that they do. So basically they steal from the rich and give to the poor. So they basically steal from those conglomerates or multinational companies, we should say, to subsidize to give to the poor who've been wronged by these multinational companies. And I think it's kind of relevant to today, because today we have this problem of knowledge plus money equals power. So these companies can control everything we do as consumers, basically. Because if you consume their stuff, you're more likely to be like their slave, because you're buying to them. And it's not good, because they're contributing very negatively to things like slave labor, and they still they rip us off, you know, a lot of things. And I think it's kind of sufficient to what I've seen. And I know, so he joins, his sister's actually a part of it, and they stole like a lot of money, which we find out around the end of season 1. And Elliot starts to learn about his true self, like he could be a leader or he could be a follower. That's what he gets from season 2, basically, because he's in prison for something that he did. I can't remember exactly what he did. I think he owned something he hacked something and he got into prison for that. And basically, he's in prison and he learns more about his own character while he's behind bars, and he associates with this guy who's a gangster, I think. A local gangster. He's been in prison multiple times. And he learns about himself and his mother being an abuser towards him. And it's like he knows. And he wants to learn about himself, but Mr. Robot tries to prevent him from pushing too far. Mr. Robot actually acts like a guide to Elliot, so he knows what he's doing and knows he's doing the right thing. And then season 2 and season 3 overlap because Tyrell goes into prison as well, and they knew each other from working at the same building, but they work for different companies. Because Tyrell works for E Corp, which is like a conglomerate business that F Society tried to steal money from. And yeah, and season 3 he goes to prison. I think he's sent to a remote location, we don't know where, and he gets arrested, I think, and his wife eventually gets killed, but she was killed before him, and her bodyguard got killed as well, because Tyrell told his wife that he needs to sort something out, and she gets killed for something, and he gets killed later, but that was at the end of season 3 because someone catches him. He thinks him and Elliot have a connection that makes them similar to each other because he felt it. And Elliot doesn't seem to believe him that their connection is actually unreal. And they like each other, they think alike and they do things the same way. Tyrell joins F Society on one condition, that I can't remember, I think he wants to see his wife later. And he gets killed anyway for rebelling, I think, and he doesn't like E Corp because they fired him, and he joins F Society. Season 4 is the final season of Mr. Robot, and basically Elliot and his sister's relationships grown stronger than ever. So they're the only ones that are left of F Society, because all the members have been killed off. All the members of F Society have been killed off, and yeah, basically. And Elliot starts to learn about himself more, but he learns about his body. I think he learns that this guy had a traumatic childhood, and the Dominican drug dealer, I can't remember his name again, he meets him again because he killed his girlfriend in season 1, but that girl he claims to be Elliot's girlfriend, basically, and he gets killed as well by his therapist because she shoots him, because they were held hostage in the room where they had to be coerced to do the therapy session. But it ends up, Elliot discovers that he's not Elliot, basically. He's just representing his emotions and his thoughts and his things that are going on in his head. He represents him in that sense, and he killed off his own self, basically, by accident. It's a mistake that he didn't need to do. He didn't have to kill him off. It's just a representation of his... He's just a representation because Mr. Robot eventually tells him that. And I think he finds out more towards the end. And him and his sister's relationship grows stronger and stronger. And yeah, I think I read about Rami Malek saying that he felt the role was perfect for him, and the character, he relates to the character very well, but he's much different to his character, but he's similar. That's what I read from one interview he did with a magazine. I think it's with Variety magazine. I don't remember what it's called. And I would recommend Mr. Robot, and you will learn a lot of things from it. And yeah, basically. And it basically covers everything you know about now. It's kind of a 21st century problem. Like these protests we have Extinction Rebellion, the Me Too movement, and we have the Black Lives Matter protests, because we're beginning to use our voices more, and we're beginning to do protests. We don't have to go out on the streets to protest. You could do it any way possible. And we know that these multinational companies are kind of causing problems for us in terms of these things. This is why we're speaking out against them. People are speaking out against them because they do wrong things, and they do things that people don't agree with, basically, which is why protests happen, so we can get our voice heard and we could make changes also. And basically, I would say Mr. Robot's a really good program, and I would get people to watch it. Even though you don't like Amazon, I would say you could watch it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I know this is a very long film review or TV review, because I don't normally do this for that long. So I hope you liked this video. Please like, share and subscribe, and comment down below if you want me to do more videos like this, or any other type of video. If you have any suggestions, even if I say something wrong, you should comment. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.